What makes you the best? How do you become the best? And is there such a thing as being the best among other people? It's something that I pondered a lot lately, and whenever I try to make a video out of it, whenever I try to record something about this topic, I always get lost in thoughts. I always get sidetracked because it's something that I can't really talk about without sounding arrogant, without being misunderstood of what I'm trying to say. Because if you think about it, if I say that there's no such thing as being the best at anything, then you question it. Then why am I working hard towards this something? Why am I giving my all in this something that I'm working on? Because I want to be the best, right? And what if a random guy, a random dude just told you that you can't be the best because there's no such thing as being the best? How would you feel if someone told you that? How would you feel if someone said that to your face? You'll be offended. You'll be baffled, right? That's why I was, and still is, trying to figure out how to say this message that I want to say without being misunderstood, without it sounding arrogant, without it sounding degrading to some. And while it is still my message that when I say that there's no such thing as being the best, and I don't mean that to downplay nor invalidate the skills of people. No, I'm quite aware that there are people who are more skilled compared to other people. But does that make them the best? We don't know, right? And when we label someone as being the best, we have standards that we're following in order for us to label that person as the best, right? Maybe ethically or ethical standards or moral standards that we set as people or that you have personally. Because I personally believe that whatever you're great at doing something, whatever it is that you do that you think that you're the best at, there's someone out there who's better than you, even just a little bit, who's better at you in the smallest aspect of that thing that you're great at. And I don't mean that, as I've said, to degrade you, to invalidate your skills. No. What I'm saying is, the issue here is not me invalidating the skills of people or saying that there's no such thing as being the best. Right? Let's just put it that way. I'm not targeting that. What I'm trying to target and say here is how people become the best, how people label themselves the best, and how do they get there. Let's just talk about that, right? And a lot of people, most of the people, not all of them, but not all of us, but the way they're getting to the top, the way they're being the best, is that they don't really consider how to get there. What do I mean by that? It's not that they don't plan it. No. Of course they plan it, right? What I'm trying to say here is they don't consider other people when they plan on going there. They don't consider other people's standing. They don't hesitate to trample over other people just to get to where they want to be the best at something. And I'm all for friendly competition. I'm all for that. I'm 110% all for that friendly competition, but a lot of times they are not even competition. A lot of times the things that I've seen, the people that I've seen doing such things are mainly ruining other people's reputation to get there, to be the best, to get that promotion, to be on the good side of someone. They'll ruin someone else's reputation just to get there, just to be the best in the eyes of that person. And I'm not trying to say that all people who are considered the best right now did that, right? I'm not saying that. I'm also quite aware that there are people out there who are good to other people, who lifted other people to be in the position they are in, right? They got help. They lift other people up there to be the best as well. I'm quite aware of that fact. But when you go to, say, a smaller community, a corporate community, you see these things like they're more prevalent than you think. They're more existing. They're more prevalent, right? As I've said, than you actually think. And it happens so often that we just get used to it, right? And a lot of people say that may kapit in Tagalog, because I don't know how to explain it in English, but it basically means that when you have the good side of someone who has a power up there, up in the status of the company, the institution, or anything like that, the department, and you'll get to where you want to be faster because you're in the good side of that someone, because you're related to that someone. And I'm not saying that to blame them, right? I'm not saying that to curse at them. No, I'm not blaming the player. I'm blaming the game, right? That's basically it. It's just that the system that we're in, I know I'm getting like more on the political side of it, but just consider it on the social spectrum of it, okay? Just don't go to the political side of it. Don't think about that side. Just think about it just on the spectrum of people, spectrum of socialization, spectrum of social animals, okay? And because when we consider these facts, these things that are actually happening in the real world, in the corporate world, in the work environment, and even like outside of work even, right? When you want to be considered the best, of course you want and will do anything and everything just to get there, just to be considered the best. I mean, who doesn't want to be considered the best, right? But if it's something that you strive for without the care of other people's, I don't know, status, their standing, and how you may trample over them, that's unhealthy, right? And as I've said from my previous video, what's the point of being on top, of being the best, if your trail left a corpse, left a great pile of corpses? That's what I was trying to say. Like, what's the sense of being the best? What's the sense of being the top if the trail that you took left a lot of pile of bodies, a lot of corpses? And, or well, at least I think that that's bad, right? I mean, I think it's generally considered bad, but if you think that it's not, it's up to you, right? It's up to your beliefs. It's up to your views on how you see things and how you perceive things. I mean, depending on your perceptions, of course, you may think that that's okay. For other people, they might think that that's okay. And of course, I'm not going to argue against that if it's something that you believe in, that you truly believe in. And I'll respect that, of course. It's just that I'm trying to preach and say here that you can be like on top without, and be the best without trampling over other people. Especially if you deserve it. Especially if you have the skills, knowledge, and perseverance to be the best, to be on top. And I personally think that you'll get there, even without, hurting other people and trampling over other people. And that's just what I think. I mean, I'm not on top. So to be credible on this information, but that's just what I think. And I mean, it's up to you whether to believe me or not, whether you were against it. And I mean, you're free to berate me with your own views and opinions, of course. I'll gladly and openly welcome those. And if it's something that you want and believe that it's necessary, it's a necessary evil to be on top, to get there, then it's up to you. Well, I might actually talk about that as well, necessary evil. I think I will talk about that on later videos. Let's see. And what else? I don't know. It's just that, as I've said earlier, the more I think about it, like the more complicated it gets. Because there's always a good and bad side of things, right? And being the best, being considered the best at something, isn't always necessarily a result of a bad process, an evil process, right? It can also be a result of a hard work, of perseverance, of sacrifices of a person to be considered the best, right? Because we have examples, right? In sports, right? They worked hard to be the best. And there we have standards, which is how they contribute to the team, how they play, how they score, how many titles they have, and everything like that, and anything along those lines. But what if it's like in a more general and a broader term, and it involves people, right? What do we have that we can call them the best? I mean, yes, there are standards, right? As I said, it can be like the moral standards and ethical standards that we have as people, or it can be a criteria that people set. It can be achievements. Can it be popularity? Can it be your followers? Can it be your stance? Can it be your views on things? Can it be your perceptions? Can it be your social status, your economical status? There's a lot of things, right? There's a lot of things that we can consider to label someone as the best at something. But most of the time, it depends on the result, right? The result that they have, the result that they had, and how consistent they are at being the best. And I don't know, it's just something that, because when you think about it in the broader term, it's much easier to explain, right? But if we get to the more niche side of it, the specifics, I think it gets harder. It gets more political if I talk about it. And I mean, I don't want to have any controversial statements and anything like that will spur a lot of, I don't know, arguments in the comment section. But I don't know, it's not that I'm afraid of like saying anything controversial, but I think it's not the message that I'm trying to put out in this channel. It's just that it goes beyond like the things that I'm preaching here. I mean, well, from time to time I'm saying like some controversial things, but I think they're not that grave as I want to say them, and as I think about them. But I don't know. I think this video has gone long enough, and I hope you learned something from it. I hope you got something out of this video that you can use for yourself, and I hope I help you in a way, and shaped your views about this topic in some way, to some degree. And I hope I didn't bore you. And feel free to comment down whether you agree or not, and whether you want to hate on this take. You're free to do that. I welcome that. And yeah, I guess that's about it. Stay awesome.